Please excuse me leaning over, I need to speak. The Apple computer. Well, actually there are many models now, so it'd be more accurate to call it an Apple computer. But it all started as just one, and it still lives on, new and upgraded as ever. Though now it's commonly shortened to Mac, and they range from the MacBook, the iMac, the Mac Mini, and the one I'm not particularly in favor of, the Mac Pro. Why am I not in favor for it? We'll get into that. Let's first get a small margin of the large amount of arguments out of the way, and let me end this war of who came first, Apple or Microsoft. Well, anyone with a little bit of Googling power can figure this one out, but it seems like many of you whine and complain about it just to support the side you like.
I just got my MacBook Air in the mail here, and I'm going to do an unboxing. Alright, so there's that. Not a very big box, not very impressive. Pretty solid box. It's like Apple seems to waste a lot of money on boxes. Boy. Man, come on, Apple. Not much to it. Boy. Alright, let me get this open. What? You can't take the battery out? What? I do that all the time! Like most users, I switch the battery in and out all the freaking time. I cannot believe I can't take the battery out! You'd think it uses so little material, it would cost less. I mean, think about it. Okay, so let's go through. Alright, well, the next thing I always do on a computer when I get a new one, of course, is upgrade the RAM. I've got these RAM chips. How do I do it? What, now I can't upgrade the RAM either? Oh, for Pete's sake! I can't believe this thing, you can't even upgrade the RAM? Hey, you know, this is a failed device. No one's gonna like this device. First, you can't take out the battery, which is the end of the world, and secondly, you can't upgrade the RAM yourself? Wait, one USB port? Come on, I'm like everybody. When I go out to a coffee shop with my laptop computer, I install 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different USB devices. What on earth would they be thinking that I would only need one USB port? And speaking of which, where's the Ethernet?
But anyway, here's how it happened. Did Microsoft steal from Apple? Well, yeah. But Apple stole their ideas first. Apple stole the visible operating system you and I are familiar with from a company called Xerox in the early 80s, and if I'm wrong, maybe late 70s.
Good artists copy, great artists steal.
This is who we wanted to steal from, Xerox. They were secretly developing all this amazing stuff like the mouse and the graphics on the screen instead of just a bunch of numbers.
The operating system replaced everything along the lines of MS-DOS, and it came with a mouse and keyboard and stuff. The Macintosh 128K was Apple's first computer, released in 1984 and sold for $2,945. Some Wikipedia information for you. It housed a Motorola 68000 processor, which was rated at a whopping 6 megahertz. 6 megahertz! And for those of you who don't know, this was a breakthrough in home technology. And today, standard desktops run at over 3 gigahertz. And they almost always have at least 2 cores. That's essentially 2 processors running at 3 gigahertz. Keep in mind, 1 gigahertz is 1000 megahertz, so I'll let you do the mundane math. But that's just a standard. Computers now are more commonly using quad-core processors. That's 4 cores. And not too rarely, octo-core processors, which is 8 cores. And there are even a number of computers that house 12-core processors, all running at generally over 3 gigahertz. And that's compared to the original single-core 6 megahertz processor by Motorola. Now, why am I saying this? Why am I comparing the old with the new? No reason, actually. I just wanted to lay down what we computer builders call standard, and throw in some interesting history in there just so that you'd keep listening. So what is this? Why am I even talking? Well, now that you know what standard is, let's talk about Apple today and what I think of it. And please remember, these are just my opinions. I don't want anyone to get hurt. You guys tend to do that a lot, to hurt yourselves. You guys like your computers a lot. The fact is, I think Apple is overpriced. Yeah, you've heard it 1,000 times, but the difference here is that I actually formed my opinion. Oh yes. I didn't just read some highest rated comment on YouTube and declare myself Apple hater. No, I did research. And I actually like Apple quite a bit, but I'd never buy one of their products. Well, more accurately, one of their computers. So how bad is the price? Well, let's settle down some prices of Windows computers. I built my computer myself and it cost me $900. And the more notable parts are as follows. Intel Core i5 2500K, HIS HD 7850, 16 gigabytes of 1333 megahertz RAM, and two 1 terabyte hard drives. And these are the prices that I paid about a year ago. They change fast. Now let's take a look at the lowest end Mac Pro. One quad-core Intel Xeon W3565 processor, an AMD HD 5770 or an AMD HD 5870, 6 gigabytes of 1333 megahertz RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, and the disk drive that they're calling a super drive. Because it's super. I don't know, maybe that's the official name. I don't know anything about CD drives. And these are those prices. Add that up, you get just shy of $1,500. What are they asking for this rig? $2,500. And don't tell me, oh, you need to count the motherboard and power supply and keyboard and mouse. That's not $1,000. I mean, I built my entire computer for under $1,000. Like well over $100 under $1,000. And it actually has a number of superior parts. And you can't say they have to make a profit because one, $1,000 more than the DIY equivalent is... That's an insane amount of profit per unit. And two, those are the consumer prices. Apple gets these parts for much cheaper because they're ordering them in large quantities and they're not buying from the middleman. I mean, you don't see Steve Jobs walking into Best Buy ordering 50,000 hard drives. Besides the fact that he's dead. So anyway, where did this $1,000 go? Well, you'd be asking yourself that question a lot with Apple if you actually did some research. This is a repeating pattern for really all Apple computers and hardware. I mean, a 2.9 gigahertz 13-inch MacBook Pro costs $1,500. My computer now can be built for $700 and it can run circles around that thing. And don't get me wrong, it's not just Apple that plays in this little game we have going here, it's called marketing. Alienware is actually a company I dislike because they take these simple computers and rack up the prices even worse than Apple does sometimes. But that story's for another day. Now, why are people buying this stuff? Simple answer, it'd be mean to call them dumb. I think it's better to say that they're misinformed. And by that I mean... Well, let's take a look at some of the advertisements. Okay. First of all, it's obvious to me they're throwing out extra technical specs because they know their audience doesn't know what any of it means. The graphics card section's a great example for this. Take a look. Double wide 16-lane PCI Express 2.0 graphics slot with one of the following cards installed. Let me stop you there. Just look at it. You don't even have to know what that means for it to sound impressive. And that's why so many people fall into buying expensive things, obviously more notably from Apple. I'm not going to explain what this means right now because I'd be here for hours, but let me just say that this bit right here is on just about every desktop motherboard today, and this part, 2.0, the new, the hip. Well, actually 3.0 is becoming more common now, but the difference in performance is close to nothing. And the graphics card. This is my favorite part. You get either an HD 5770 or an HD 5870. First they tell you all this stuff that's a no-brainer for myself and fellow computer builders. But then they get to the interesting stuff. Powerful graphics cards give you up to 5 times faster performance, while 3 video ports give you more display options. 5 times faster video performance? Okay, the 5770 is actually the card I replaced out of this computer. And I mean, it was a decent card, but... You know, I'm actually going to stop myself right there. It's a decent card. Remember, this is a $2,500 computer. I don't know what it's 5 times faster than besides an older card. I don't know what they're talking about. But hey, maybe they were talking about the 5870 because they did say up to 5 times more powerful. Well, my current card, a 7850, is actually about on par with the 5870. and I must say it's a pretty nice card. But it's more commonly referred to as a mid-ranged card, and so it's not like me to advertise it as powerful and 5 times the power of this mystery low-end card nobody knows about. And I mean, yeah, go buy yourself a $2,500 computer with a mid-ranged card. And this part right here, this literally almost made me laugh. Like, I smiled when I was reading it. I thought it was a joke. 3 video ports give you more display options. Yeah, DVI, HDMI, and VGA. At least 2 of those are on every new card I purchased today, and some of them aren't even up to speed with the 5770. Saying it features 3 display ports that give you more options, that's obvious and should be more than expected from a computer that's $2,500. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go buy a $2,500 computer that doesn't even have the display ports I want. It's insane to me. People talk about how Apple computers don't get viruses, but Windows computers always do. Windows computers only get viruses because there's so many more of them than Apple computers. And I know saying that's completely irrelevant because it's still a reason to favor Apple over Microsoft, but I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had a computer virus in like 4 years, and that's with heavy computer usage. I mean, I've scanned my computer and there's really never anything to take note of. And sometimes there's that little pop-up that comes up and it's like, ah, you have a virus! But then I just delete it and continue what I'm doing. And even that little harmless, that happens what, like once a year? Oh, you have nice antivirus software. Yeah, AVG Free Edition 2013. So let's round things up really quick. I don't hate Apple, actually. I do actually think their systems are pretty nice. I just really don't like the price that they're supposed to live up to. And plus, there are all these annoying Apple fanboys that are like, Windows computers slow down with age and Apple computers don't. I've never heard a more ludicrous statement regarding computers. But then there's the software, and I don't really know anything about that. I mean, besides the fact that it's a Unix system.
It's a Unix system.
And that Linux runs off that. Linux is free and it's a community-based operating system that's consistently being upgraded and worked on by the users. Even good old Google runs their servers on Linux. Why is Linux just over there in the corner, all alone? Maybe that's the OS everyone needs, but they don't know it. Huh. Whatever. I just want to play my video games.